Last month at my town's local shop, I walked in like I always did and asked for the obvious answer. You know the one. The counter guy didn't even move. No reach, no, yeah, we got those. Just that look like I showed up late to my own damn party. He slid a totally different case forward like it was normal. That's when it hit me. The market didn't shift. It ditched the old defaults. And the weird part, half of these weren't supposed to win. Not best on paper, not internet approved. I mean real buyers. Guys who used to argue brand loyalty like it paid their mortgage, stopped talking and started buying something else. Same faces, same shops, different answers coming out of the glass. So this list isn't a best guns flex, it's the 5 that shoved the old defaults off the shelf. It's 5 pistols that moved people, stuff that sold out, got restocked, sold out again, while the old safe picks sat there like they did something wrong. And the last one, that one made me shut up. That one made Springfield Echelon 4.0C showed up quiet. Early this year, it sat in the case like background noise. Another striker compact in a sea of them. Then March hit and I realized I was late. I watched guys walk in and start their sentence the old way. I need a P365. Got a Hellcat? Just give me the Glock. And then they stopped. Like they caught themselves. Like saying the old default out loud suddenly sounded dumb. They leaned closer to the glass and asked for the 4.0C instead. That's the shock. Not that it existed, that it displaced the automatic picks. Shops couldn't keep it in. One shipment disappeared before the tags even looked settled. Online groups flipped from ignoring it to dudes posting, wait, where the hell are these? Like it was a limited drop. And Springfield compacts don't usually get treated like that. Not unless something real changed. So I grabbed one with an attitude. I expected it to be momentum and marketing. I wanted the letdown. It didn't show up. A short carry run, one sweaty range day, and one fast, messy stage later. I kept waiting for the stumble that never came. That bugged me, because it meant the market wasn't chasing a rumor. It was reacting to something it felt. One flaw on fast strings. It felt a little taller in recoil than some micros. Still, it didn't win by being new. It won by making grown men quietly abandon the old answer. The finish on the Taurus GX4 Carry showed wear faster than I liked. Real fast. That cheap, shiny scuff that normally turns into a punchline. And that's why what I saw in early 2026 messed with me. I was standing by the used case, watching the trade-in wall like it was a lie detector. Same premium micros kept showing up used, barely broken in, barely even dirty. The I finally upgraded guns tumped fast, again and again. But the GX4 Carry wasn't stacking up there the same way. That felt backwards. So I handled one right there, trying to find the joke. Then a guy walked past the big name compacts, pointed straight at the GX4 Carry and said, "That one, you got another?" No whisper, no apology, no, I know it's just a Taurus. Just the decision. So I grabbed one, carried it long enough to give it a chance to embarrass me, and ran a short, ugly range string where it should have acted like a budget gun. It didn't. And that's where the rumor crawled in. Quiet talk about owners swapping small parts early. Nobody admitted it. Nobody posted it. They just handled it. That part still doesn't sit right with me. Because when people stop whispering, they also stop telling you the whole truth. And the next gun proved that in public. Early this year, I ended up at one of those elders-only BBQs where the chairs didn't match and everybody pretended they weren't watching everybody. Slow laughter, paper plates, that low hum of old stories. Then I spotted my old buddy, Houston PD, the kind of guy who never posts, never brags, and still carries himself like he's on duty even when he's holding a soda. We drifted toward the side of the yard, away from the main circle, and he did that thing where he talked like he wasn't talking. He said they were quietly bringing in the FN509 Tactical, while the G19s were still in the system, not replacing overnight. Not a big announcement, just arriving. I laughed like it was a joke. He didn't. He said the higher level already signed the deal. Then he hit me with that little smile like he slid a card across a table. "Have you shot it yet?" And he didn't wait for my answer. He tapped his waistband and gave me half a second of it. Quick flash. Enough to see it was real. Enough to feel my stomach drop. Because that wasn't shop talk. That was a decision of wearing a belt. Then, somebody from the main group walked over mid-sentence. My buddy's tone changed instantly. Went casual. Started talking about food. Like nothing happened. That's what made it uncomfortable. It wasn't range gossip. It wasn't internet hype. It was the way he stopped talking when people got closer. Yeah, like even saying it out loud caused problems. There was a weird rumor floating around private ranges and closed groups this year. CZ Shadow 2 Compact, a competition gun, started getting carried on the side by guys who usually mocked that idea. I called it bullshit, because that's the rule people live by. Competition guns stayed in a bag, carry guns stayed on a belt. The moment you mix them, you looked like you were trying too hard. Then I started seeing it. Quiet, serious people switching. No posts, no new carry speech, but just a different outline on the belt, and a fast change of the subject when you asked why. So I bought one to catch the lie. Appendix through a long workday, then straight into a night session. Movement, barricades, low light. I kept waiting for it to feel like a range toy, and it never did. That pissed me off, because it meant the label was the lie, not the gun. The grip stayed right after hours on my belt. The trigger under stress felt unfair. It ran defensive ammo dirty without acting precious. And the worst part? I realized I wasn't the only one. This wasn't a one-off. It was spreading quietly. Guys who swore micro or nothing, suddenly making room for steel and not explaining it. One problem stayed real: the wait. After 12 plus hours, you paid for it. So if this became an underground carry move, how the hell did the Ruger RXM shock the market even harder? Last month, Tuesday afternoon, I walked into the shop for boring stuff. Ammo, maybe a holster, and the Ruger RXM sat in the case like somebody misfiled it. Ruger. Magpul. Oh, that combo already felt like a prank. Then I saw the tag. $4 and something. I actually laughed. Not the happy kind, the that's wrong kind. I leaned in closer like the ink changed if I stared hard enough. Counter guy didn't pitch it. He just gave me that little nod like, yeah, I know. And right there, I watched the market move. A guy behind me started his sentence the old way, asking for the safe default, and he didn't finish it. His eyes hit that RXM price, and his whole plan rerouted mid-word. He pointed at the case like it offended him. That the Ruger Magpul one? No shopping voice. Grabbing voice. And the clerk dropped his volume and said, I got 2 left. Not, I can order more. 2. Like he already watched them vanish twice that week. That's what shocked the market. It didn't win on hype. It won on the math. A modular fire control setup at a price that made the whole shelf look like a scam. I picked it up, felt how complete it seemed, and I hated the thought that hit me. Either Ruger undercut everybody, or everybody else got fat on us. Early this year, I stared at a trade-in shelf that looked like the aftermath of a trend. All the new hot compacts were sitting there. Optics ready this, compensated that, guns that were supposed to replace everything. And then I noticed what wasn't there. No Glock 19 Gen 5s. Not on the shelf, not in the returns. So I half joked at the guy behind the counter, where are all the 19S? People keeping them. He didn't answer right away. He slid a clipboard a little closer, like he wasn't supposed to, then said it flat. They trade everything else. They don't trade those. And then he added the part that stuck in my teeth. Or if they do, it never hits the shelf. That's the market shock in 2026. Glock didn't win. It became the gravity well. Guys bought something else, tried to convince themselves it was an upgrade, then quietly crawled back. Not loud, not proud. Quiet like they didn't want the room to know they went full circle. Once I saw that pattern, it messed with my head. Because it meant a lot of new favorites weren't favorites. They were experiments. And the Glock 19 was what people returned to when they stopped experimenting. Which makes you wonder why some shops treated them like they were too valuable to sit in public. That's what keeps scratching at me. How fast grown men drop the old defaults, like they suddenly got embarrassed by them. No slow trend, no maybe. One week it's the obvious ask, The next week, it's dead quiet, and the counter guy starts pulling different cases without even checking first. And I don't know if that's buyers getting smarter or just easier to push. So I want receipts in the comments. What keeps disappearing where you live? What used to be the automatic pick that now sits there untouched? And if you switched, don't dress it up. Tell me the exact moment you stopped trusting the old recommendation. I'm Steve, and I'm still watching the shelf like it's about to change again.